Thank you, Shannon. We turn now to that earthquake in Italy, and parts of that country look like a war zone this afternoon. Centuries-old villages are now gone. Buildings are piles of rubble, and families are in shock. The pictures coming in show the devastation from the 6.2 magnitude quake.
It happened in the middle of the night in central Italy, northeast of Rome. And some of the tremors were felt hundreds of miles away. Right now, at least 120 people are dead, but that number is expected to rise as rescuers continue to dig through that rubble. Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson is in the newsroom with the latest on the recovery efforts. Kim.
Well, Liz, tonight rescue crews witnessing firsthand the strength of a child. An 8-year-old little girl has been pulled from the rubble, and she is alive. For everyone in that region, it was a terrifying 142 seconds earlier this morning. That's how long the ground and the homes they were sleeping in swayed and shook. The desperate search for survivors after a severe earthquake rocked central Italy this morning.
In the next few hours, we must continue to bring people alive from beneath the rubble.
Authorities are well aware time is of the essence, that the first 72 hours are key for anyone who may be trapped in terms of making it out alive. In all of this devastation, glimmers of hope. In Amatrice, a small town at the epicenter of the quake, rescuers pulled out this woman. The earthquake struck just after 3:30 in the morning local time.
It woke us up. It felt like the bed was on rollers.
Others felt the same thing Michael Gilroy experienced. He's an American traveling in Italy. People nearly 100 miles away in Rome felt the aftershocks.
We ran out to the main area where there's a big chandelier, and the chandelier was just swaying back and forth. And at that point, we knew, and just try to get out of the building as fast as we can.
At the Vatican, Pope Francis prayed for those who didn't make it out alive. The death toll expected to rise in the coming days. A 6-man team from the Vatican City State's fire squad is now in the region, helping with the recovery efforts.
I'd like you to join together in prayer so that the Lord Jesus Christ is always there to help and relieve our hearts in pain.
This is an all too familiar scene for those who live here. In 2009, more than 300 people were killed when a 6.3 magnitude earthquake hit. The fear and uncertainty that comes along with this type of natural disaster, something many will never forget.
It was just this terrible sensation of literally the ground beneath your feet moving and having no clue what to do.
Now, tonight, authorities say no one in the hardest hit town of Amatrice will be able to sleep in what's left of their homes. The structures are simply too unstable. Liz and Diana.
Okay, thank you, Kimberly. As you can imagine, Italian Americans in our area are trying desperately to get in touch with family members and friends overseas, but the director of the Italian American One Voice Coalition says he believes it's going to be difficult to reach anyone in that region for days.
There's going to be a tremendous need there because not, of course, the devastating loss of life, but on top of that, all of these people that are now homeless, that literally lost everything.
Meanwhile, Mayor de Blasio tweeting, quote, "On behalf of all New Yorkers, especially my fellow Italian Americans, I send out support to the people of Italy. We are with you." Meteorologist Lee Goldberg, familiar with earthquake zones, is here now with more on why Italy is one of the most earthquake-prone countries in the world. Lee?
And Diana, about 2,000 destructive quakes over the last 400 years. I mean, so you're talking about every 5 years or so. So very common. Now, this one's 6.2 magnitude. Worst time you could see it overnight. Everybody's in their homes. A fairly shallow quake, so not a lot of earth to dampen the feel of the quake. And it was felt 70, 80 miles away in Rome. Now, our weather computer can actually monitor quakes, and you can actually see that just after 3 in the morning, and then all of the aftershocks in the 12 hours that fall. In fact, one of the magnitudes there at about 5.5. Now, the reason this is happening is because Italy is right smack dab in the middle of the African and the Eurasian plates, so the crust is moving all the time, and those plates actually pushed up the Apennine Mountains, and that's what right is. So all these small towns near these mountains prone to earthquakes, so not surprising to see it there, and we'll be tracking the aftershocks over the coming days. I'll see you for the AccuWeather forecast in a few minutes. Liz and Diana, back to you for now.
Fascinating look at how this happened. All right, Lee, thank you. Meanwhile, there's been another earthquake, this one in Myanmar.